I'll hand over to Sonika. If you
right.
can tell us a little bit about your background and what's led you here.
Sure. So, first of all, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And I'll begin with my Miss India wave. All right. So, I was born in Delhi, the capital of India, and I have had convent schooling. I went to do my bachelor's in English literature, and then I had my major in English literature. I also have a major in business administration, and I have about 10 plus years of corporate experience behind me. Um, in 2014, I got married, and that's the one, which is the proof enough. And then I was fortunate enough to travel for a bit. So we went to Europe, Thailand, covered a couple of countries. And during those days of travel, I realized that that the high-profile, full throttle speed of life in Delhi was just not working out, and we wanted to slow down in our life and enjoy the smaller things in life. And that's when we decided to come to Australia. We had the option of going to Canada or come to Australia, but Australia is kind of closer to India. No, honestly speaking, it was more culturally rich. And of course, there is a bigger community of subcontinent people here in comparison to Canada. So we also had a couple of family friends already based out. So we chose to come here, and since last year February, I've been here, and yeah, that's about me.
And we should just point out that photo of you on the screen there, Sonika, that's your wedding day.
That
and
is.
that's your wedding gown.
It is, yes.
And that's
wedding
tradition?
dress. It is. It is a very traditional dress, and it's from the religion of Hinduism. So we got married according to Hindu customs and rituals, and this is the traditional attire of a Hindu bride.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
And Sonika was telling me that takes quite a long time to get into.
Oh, yes.
And it's quite a process to get dressed.
2 hours.
Yeah, excellent. Dedication. Moving to Australia. I'm interested to hear from you whether that was the same experience and any challenges that you may have faced.
Do you want to go first this time?
Yeah, sure.
All right,
So,
go for it.
back in Delhi, I was working for all the biggest brands. So I was working with Mahindra, which is one of the biggest conglomerates in the world, and they are into auto industry. I was a senior manager there. And after having 2 professional degrees and having a certain number of experience behind me, a certain number of years of experience, life is good, and you attain a certain amount of confidence when you reach a certain level of seniority, so to say. So, and we got this work visa when we decided to come here, and I thought, yeah, it should be more or less just the same. I mean, my expertise are not going anywhere, and I have the degree to back me on that front. And so when we landed here, I mean, I came here in 18, and we went to Queensland, Sunshine Coast, the beautiful Sunshine Coast, gosh. The biggest challenge that I found there was that people were not really open to have people of diverse background, and people with no local experience whatsoever. So even if you had worked with all the Ernst & Youngs of the world, or Mahindras of the world, or whosoever with the world, if you do not have Australian experience behind you, it's actually not worth your time, from the employer's point of view. So I kept getting all the rejections, and finally I got into an insurance broking firm at a level where I had started like 10 years ago. And that was kind of disheartening. That was one. And then somewhere I also felt that there was a bit of racism that was kind of prevalent in the work environment there. And I was constantly reminded that I'm not a part of the group because I'm not an Australian, I'm not a white person, and of course, I do not have local experience. So I think that was one of my biggest challenges. I think I've lost count now as to how many interviews did I give, And the only reason I was always given was, well, you've got the experience, you've got the qualification behind you, you've taken a certificate course from here in Australia, from one of the finest institutes, fair enough, but you do not have any work experience. You don't know our work environment. But then the scenario changed for me when I interviewed with Latrobe City Council, and they realized my worth as a professional, and they saw beyond that experience, if I may put it that way, the block of experience that generally employers had back then. And I was really fortunate to come across the HR team who was very open to listen to my experiences. Matt, who gave me that break of being here. And so those were biggest challenges that I had.
Thank you, Sonika. Eric, do you guys have anything else to add before the next question?
Yes, about your question. Actually, it's two-step for me. The first one was the panel interview that I had through Skype with you guys. I think the way you guys came across, it was a learning experience for me, because the questions that you asked were very different from the previous questions that were asked to me in various interviews. That's first step. And the second one was, as I've already mentioned, I've come from a corporate background, and working for public sector was a different experience altogether. So I wasn't sure whether it means that I'm going to push my boundaries, or does it mean that I'll have a completely different skill set when I'll be a part of this organization. So just wanted to check that. And when you keep doing the same stuff over and over again, there's a saturation point that you hit. And I think I had already hit that. And working for public sector was a great pull for me, and that's why I'm here.
So, Sonika?
I think one piece of advice that would come from me is that don't be ever scared to push your boundaries. Don't be ever scared to step out of your comfort zone, because initially, of course, yes, people would try to talk you out of it. You would feel scared. You wouldn't want to compromise on certain things. But at the end, it all feels justified when you are a better person, a stronger person for sure, and you know your worth, and it's an amazing feeling when you reflect back that I did not yield, I did not break, and I have come this far. It's a sense of accomplishment. Yeah.
Thank you. Eric?
Yeah, I think the only thing I'd have to say is do it. Step out of your comfort zone and take a risk. People are surprisingly resilient. And if you've got the support system, definitely if you have the support system around you. My wife was very supportive. Like, as soon as I went back to uni, we were down to a single income. And in that time, we bought a house. And I think just as I got laid off from my job, just before that, we bought a car. So it was going to be a struggle with money right away, going down to a single income. But if you've got that support, definitely do it. Nobody ever makes any gains by playing it safe, pretty much. So yeah, take a shot.
And I think you also had a baby in there somewhere.
There was a baby in there too. Yeah, that's Hannah, my daughter, up in the top photo. She'll be 2 in a couple of months. So yeah, we had her just about the time I started here, but that was definitely on the cards and on the table. So, yeah.
I think you've spoken for me. Seriously, I feel the same. If I wouldn't have had the support system of my husband, because back in Queensland, when I didn't have a job and my husband was still in India, I called him every day and I spoke to him for hours. And every time, every day, he assured me of his support. He told me that I'm worth it. I used to say all kind of negative things about me. I'm not worth it, I'm not good, I'm not putting in enough efforts. I think I want to come back. But every day he reassured me that you can do it, you have it in you, and don't worry, I'm there for you. No matter what happens, I'm here. So I think that kept me going.
And you had a special cultural day yesterday
Yes,
for your husband.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that, Sonika?
Well, I was okay. So it's an Indian fast that we do for our husbands. In Hindu tradition, it's one day in the year when wives fast for the husband, and it's like Ramadan of Muslims. So we eat only at the break of dawn, and then we break our fast towards the end when the sun completely sets and if you can sight the moon, fair enough. If not, it should be the time for moonrise. So the whole day, you cannot drink even a sip of water. And I felt so dehydrated. My team has been really, really supportive enough for this. They took me out to Little Malaysia. I was sitting in the middle. Everyone was having meals and nice drinks. Really good, very reassuring and very nice. Yeah. So yes, and that was what it was. And then towards the end of the day, we offer some prayers to the local gods of India, and that's how we do it. So this is for the well-being and happiness of the husband and for his long life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. And just one final question to wrap up. I want to leave it on a fun note. Can anyone share with me a party secret or a party trick? Fun fact?
Fun fact, yes, for sure. Do you guys know at the age of 15, I was about to run away from my house because I wanted to marry an Indian actor. And the day I was about to take the train to the place he lived, I read in the newspaper that he is out to Bali with his family and his wife and 2 kids.
Oh, damn. Not good.
It broke my heart.
And I can't help but share this.
Yeah.
Sonika is a rapper.
I had packed up my bag by then. Yeah.
We missed that. You're a rapper.
Yeah,
you can
also.
rap, can't you?
I can.
I'm not going to make you do it. Clint, what's your hidden secret? I gave one.